start today seated. So if you want to kneel, you can kneel. If you want to sit cross-legged, whatever feels comfortable. If you are kneeling but your feet get squidged, then you can always pop a cushion or something under your bum to lift you up a little bit. And just letting your hands rest, maybe on your legs, maybe over your heart, on your body somewhere. And closing your eyes. And taking 3 big breaths. So big deep breath filling up your lungs, and then just a big sigh out of the mouth. And take a few smaller sighs if you want, or keep going with the big ones if they feel good. And just letting your breath start to settle back to its natural rhythm for a few moments. Just paying attention to it, so noticing what your breath is like this evening. Where is it sitting in your body? Maybe you can feel the temperature of the air as you breathe in through your nose and out again. Maybe you can notice the humidity of the air as it passes over your upper lip. And starting to draw it a little bit deeper. Just exploring the different spaces you can pull your breath into. So maybe you're letting your belly rise and fall a little bit more. Maybe your chest is moving. Or maybe you can feel the sides of your ribs, the back of your body moving to create a bit more space for that breath. Finding a nice steady pace with the breath. Finding something that's comfortable and controlled. We'll start moving to this little head roll. So on an exhale, drop your chin down to your chest. Take the left ear over to the left shoulder. And inhale to drop the head back. Taking it over the right shoulder and back down to the front. So keeping that going. So it's sort of a breath in to come back. The breath out to finish that circle. It's moving nice and steady. There's no rush. Making this circle the last one in this direction. So the next time your chin drops forward, take it back the way it came. Two more circles. Ending on with the chin tucked down to the chest, sitting up nice and tall, nice and long through the spine. Steady breath. On an inhale, lifting your chin up towards the sky, so nice and long through the front of the neck. Try not to drop the head too far back. On your next exhale, bringing the chin back to center. And then inhale, we're going to squeeze the shoulders up towards the ears as high as they'll go. And then exhale, press them down towards the earth. Inhale, squeezing shoulders up to the ears. Exhale, pressing them down. 3 more. So moving with your breath, taking it as fast or as slow as your breath is moving. When you're done bringing your hands to prayer, we can do mothering lotus, which I think we've done before. I'm just going to turn sideways to give you a different view this time. So starting with the hands in prayer, you're going to spread the fingers, those middle 3 fingers away and the palms of the hands away. So you still got that outer edge of the pinky, thumb and palm touching, making a nice little lotus flower between your hands. On an exhale, you're going to roll the backs of the hands together and reach forward, rounding the back. On an inhale, bringing the hands back through, back to your lotus, sitting nice and tall. Lovely. So keeping that going. Exhale, reaching forward, rounding the back. Inhale, sitting nice and tall with your lotus flower. Lovely. Keeping that going. 3 more. 2 more. Last one. Bring the hands together in prayer, taking a breath in the middle. Then on an inhale, we're going to sweep the arms high, taking them nice and wide, palms touch. Exhale, hands come down to heart. Lovely. 2 more like that. Inhale, big sweep up. Exhale, hands to heart. Lovely. 1 more. Last one. I can't count. It's fine. Okay, this time we're going to sweep the arms up overhead. You're going to interlace the fingers, turn the palms of the hands up towards the ceiling, press through the heels of the hands, trying to make the 2 sides of your waist as long as you possibly can. If it feels a bit tight or a little bit sticky, feel free to have a little wiggle, stretch into it. Nice big breaths. Okay. On an exhale, taking the fingers to the base of the skulls, the elbows are nice and wide. On an exhale, making yourself really small, bringing the elbows together towards the ground. Inhale to sit up nice and tall, elbows wide. Lovely. Exhale, making yourself small. Inhale, nice and big. 2 more. Okay, we'll start some twists. This time, exhale is going to twist you to the left. Inhale to center. Exhale, right. Inhale, center. Exhaling, left. Back to the middle. Exhaling, right. Just keeping that going. Trying to keep the breath as full as you can. Keep the elbows nice and broad. Back nice and long. Trying to keep the hips both down. Lovely. Next time you come to the left, let the hands drop. So maybe the back hand comes to your lower back. Front hand to the knee. You can look over that back shoulder. Nice full breaths. One more breath. Then on an inhale, sweeping the arms high as you come to face front. Exhale, taking the twist over to the other side. If you feel any discomfort or that your breath is restricted in any way, you can make that twist a little less deep. Just trying to find that balance between range of movement and your breath. So one more breath in this twist. Then on your next inhale, sweeping the arms up overhead, facing front. Exhale, hands come down to heart center. Lovely. We're going to come onto all fours from wherever you are. Have a little wriggle if you need a little wriggle. We're going to set up a sort of slightly long based tabletop. So if you kind of find your normal tabletop and then walk your hands one length forward, take your shoulders with you. You can have the feet flat. If you want to give the soles of your feet a little bit of a stretch, then you can tuck the toes. So we're going to start from here. On an exhale, take the hips out to the right and sit back towards the heels. On the inhale, you're going to come out to the left and drop the hips down towards the front. So it's a nice big circle. Exhaling to the right, inhaling to the left. Lovely. So making that circle with your hips as big as you feel comfortable doing, noticing how that feels in the hip joint. Make sure you're pressing through your fingertips and your thumbs as well. Take some of the weight out of your wrists. One more circle coming this way around. And then going back the opposite way. Complete one more circle. And we're going to come back to center. Reset your tabletop so it's nice and square. So wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Enough space between your wrists and knees so you can get nice, long, flat back. So keeping the neck long, keeping the head a little lifted, just gazing at that space between your hands, pressing through the fingertips, the knuckles at the base of the fingers, hugging the tummy in a little bit to support your lower back, pressing gently through the feet to activate some of the muscles in the lower part of your body. Inner elbows pointing towards each other if you can. Nice and strong, pressing into the ground so that the ribs are lifted up into the shoulder blades, not just kind of hanging down. Nice steady breaths here. We'll move into some cat-cow. So on an inhale, you're going to tilt the pelvis, drop the belly, lift the gaze forward. And then exhale to arch the back up to the sky, head hangs heavy. Inhale to roll forward, belly drops, lifting the gaze. Exhale, arching the back to the sky. Lovely, 3 more. Noticing if you feel any kind of sticky bits in your spine. Really trying to exaggerate that move within a comfortable range. Lovely. When you've done one more, I'm going to come back to center. sit back on your heels and find a child's pose. So you can take any version that feels good. Knees together, knees apart, arms alongside your legs or over, head towards the top of the mat, whatever feels best. Coming back to the breath. One more breath down here. And then bringing yourself up to a kneeling position. I'm going to do a little flow from side to side. So on an inhale, we're going to take the left fingertips down as we reach the right fingertips up, lifting the hips forward. Lovely. On an exhale, you're going to swap sides and inhale to lift up on the other side. Nice. So keeping that going. A little bit of a side stretch in there. You're trying to lift the hips forward so the hand's not coming too far out to the side. Nice. Do one more on each side. Coming back to center. Gonna come back to that tabletop just for a moment, and then we're gonna tuck the toes, lift the knees, crawl the hands back, take the hips up so you find yourself in a forward fold. Keep the knees nice and bent, maybe letting the chest rest on the thighs, letting the head be heavy, let your jaw be soft, tongue soft. Maybe give the head a little shake, a little nod. Maybe let yourself sway side to side. Bending the knees enough to take any kind of sense of stretch or as much as possible out of the back of the legs. So the back is as rounded as it can be. One more breath down here. And on an inhale, we're going to roll all the way up to standing, keeping the knees soft and the chin tucked all the way up to the top. Lovely. Just adjust yourself so you've got your feet sort of firmly underneath you. We're going to do some heel raises. So you can adjust them if you need to again. Standing nice and tall. And on an inhale, we're going to rise up onto the heels, tiptoes even, lift the heels, lift the arms. Exhale, bringing them back down. Lovely. So same again, inhale, lifting. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift. Exhale, lower, one more. Lovely. Exhale, releasing down. The legs a little shake if they need it. I'm going to stand up nice and tall. Step the right foot forward, just far enough that you've still got both feet down, and try not to, in most people's hips, it's easier to have the legs parallel. So just watch if your feet have kind of gone for a little bit of a crisscross. You can try and square the hips facing the same direction. It can help pull the thighs in towards each other, can kind of help with that sense of stability. We're going to reach behind us, take hold of opposite elbows. Just do it the way that feels comfortable this time. We'll come to the other side in a minute. Pressing firmly through both feet, squeezing those thighs together. Inhale just to lift the chest a little bit. And then on an exhale, we're going to fold forward. So just come forward as far as you can while your back's still straight. So notice if your shoulders really start rounding forward, your head starts to drop. Keep pressing through both feet, squeezing those thighs together. So we've got nice long spine, nice long legs. If there's stretch in the back of the front leg, the right leg is feeling too intense, there are two ways to handle that. You can lift yourself up a little higher, or you can shorten the step, the length of the step between your feet. If you feel you have a bit more space to move down, then feel free to explore that. Just notice if one shoulder is higher than the other. Nice. Okay, one more breath here. And on an inhale, lifting yourself up nice and tall. And take the hands to the hips for a moment. We're going to step forward into a balance. We're going to do a different balance to the one we usually do. So stepping the weight into the right foot, we're going to come into tree. So taking the inside of the left foot to the sole of the left foot to anywhere on the inside of the right leg. So it might be that it's your foot still like a little bit of a bicycle stand, or it might come higher up. Just finding wherever feels good. So I'm going to press the two into each other. Draw that knee so it's trying to come back behind you. Trying to make sure your ribs are over your hips. So notice if you're leaning back or kind of doing something weird. Bringing the hands to prayer. If that's feeling stable and you want an extra challenge, maybe reaching the arms up overhead. Nice, steady breath. One more breath here. Then on an inhale, we're going to take the hands to the hips, take the knee forward and up into the chest. On an exhale, you're going to extend that front leg. So just keeping it lifted as high as you can. Making sure that foot is either pointed or flexed, just doing something. So it's not just like a heavy weight pulling you down. Again, notice if you've rocked back, see if you can lift yourself more centrally over your hips. Nice, steady breaths. On an inhale, bring the knee back into the chest. Exhale, step the foot down, give the legs a little shake if they need it. Okay. And then we'll do the other side. So feet underneath you to start with, and then stepping that left foot forward just far enough that you can still keep both heels nice and firmly down. Arms are going to come behind you. Take the weird way around this time. It's the opposite of last time. Trying to square those hips forward, squeezing the thighs together, pressing firmly through both feet. On an inhale, little lift of the chest. Exhale, hinging forward. Again, just coming as far as you can where your hips are still centered and your back still flat. Nice, steady breaths. If after a few breaths you feel you might have a bit more space, feel free to explore that. Try to keep the back of the neck nice and long. Lovely. One more breath here. Then on an inhale, lifting yourself up nice and tall. Hands come to the hips. We're going to go for that balance again. So shifting the weight forward into that left foot. Right foot's going to come to the inside of the left thigh, finding your tree. Hands can come to prayer. And if that's feeling stable, lifting the arms up nice and tall. Trying to draw that right knee round to the side behind you, getting that front of the hip open. Lovely. Okay, one more breath. And on an exhale, we're going to take the hands down to the hips. Inhale to bring the leg forward and straighten it. I've got furniture in the way. So nice straight right leg lifted as high as you can get it. Make sure that foot's helping you, not just weighing you down. Lovely, nice, steady breath. On an inhale, bring that knee up into the chest. Exhale, step it down, give the feet a little shake out. Okay. Cool, so you should be somewhere towards the front of your mat. So you can take the feet a little way apart. No, sorry, scratch that. I'm going to step out wide. Step out wide. It's up to you how wide. There are no rules, just whatever feels comfortable. And toes turned out, heels a little closer together. A little play with goddess pose. So bringing the hands to prayer just to keep things easy. On an exhale, we're going to sit down into goddess. Inhale, lift up. So exhale to sit down. Inhale to lift up. Things to watch for. You want your knees to aim for over your big toes. And you want to try and tuck the tailbone a little bit so you've still got that nice stacking of your hips underneath your ribs. Lovely. Next time you come down, we're going to hold here. So it's up to you how far down you come. Just come to a place where you can do all of those things. You can get the knees out. You can draw the tailbone under a little bit. You can still keep the spine nice and long. Nice, steady breath. One more breath here. Then we're going to inhale, lift up. Exhale, we're going to step back to the back of the mat. Lovely. So facing the length of it. Finding your mountain pose. So it's up to you whether you have your feet together or apart. Just nice and solid underneath you. Pressing down through your big toe, your little toe, the very center of your heel, lifting up through the rest of the body. Imagine that your spine is like a metal rod and you're trying to hug everything in towards it. Reaching for the earth with your fingertips. Nice and tall, nice and active, nice and strong. Steady breath. On an inhale, we're going to sweep the arms high, palms touch. Exhale, hinge forward at the hips, coming into a forward fold, softening the knees where you need. Inhale, find a halfway lift, nice flat back, broad chest. Exhale, coming back to that same forward fold. Inhale, rising up nice and tall, palms touch. Exhale, hands to heart. Lovely. Same again. Inhale, sweeping the arms high. Exhale to hinge forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rising up. Exhale, hands to heart. Lovely. We'll move on. Inhale, sweeping the arms high. Exhale to hinge forward. Inhale, halfway lift. This time, exhale, take the hands to the mat. Walk forward to find your tabletop. So knees come down. On an inhale, find your cow, belly drops, gaze lifts forward. Exhale, arching the back to the sky, head hangs heavy. Inhale, coming back to neutral. Exhale, you can take child's pose or push yourself up to a downward facing dog, whichever feels better in your body, depending on what kind of Monday you've had. Nice, steady breaths. If you're in down dog, walking your hands back towards your feet. If you're in child, you're going to tuck the toes and take the hips up as you bring your hands closer to your feet, finding everyone in a ragdoll forward fold. Taking a breath nice and heavy at the bottom. On an inhale, rolling up, nice and tall. Lovely. Exhaling at the top. Inhale, sweeping the arms high. Exhale to hinge forward. Inhale for the halfway lift. Exhale, hands to mat, coming down to your tabletop again. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale to neutral. Exhale, child's pose or downward facing dog. Nice, steady breaths. From here, finding your way back to your tabletop. We're going to step, we're going to lift the right knee up behind you on an inhale and sort of step the right foot forward outside the right hand. So imagine you're trying to get over a post next to your right hip. And you've got your foot down. You can lift the chest up so you're in a nice wide lunge. Lovely. On an inhale, sweeping the arms high, grabbing the left wrist, pulling it up towards the ceiling, slight tuck on the tailbone, and a little lean over to the right for a nice side stretch. Lovely. On an inhale, bring yourself back up to center. Exhale, taking the hands to heart. Inhale, we're going to twist to the right, so turning towards that leg, pressing through both feet so you've got a nice solid base underneath you. Hands can stay in prayer, or you can take the right hand to your lower back, left hand to the knee, or one and both of them can come out nice and long. Depends how much work you want your body to do. Lovely, nice steady breaths. On an inhale, bring yourself to face front again. Bring the hands back to prayer. On an exhale, taking the hands down to the ground underneath your shoulders. Then we're going to take that right leg back the way it came over that invisible pillar. Take a breath in the middle, then left side. So inhale to step that left foot forward. And then lifting yourself up. Bring the arms up overhead, grabbing the right wrist this time, pressing through both feet, sort of squeezing the thighs together so you're nice and stable. Then little lean, little pull on that wrist over to the left. Trying to keep the hips central. Nice big breaths. One more breath here. Inhale to lift yourself up. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, twisting to the left. Taking a moment to get nice and stable and solid, and then doing whatever it is you want to do with the arms. You've got lots of combinations. One more breath. On an inhale, bringing yourself to face front, hands come back to prayer. Exhaling to take the hands back to the earth. Inhaling to send the left leg back where it came from. From here, we're going to lift ourselves up, so we're kneeling nice and tall. Just make sure you've got enough space to step a leg out either side of you. So starting in the middle, we'll start by taking that right leg out, trying to press the sole of the foot flat into the earth. Lovely. So we're going to start with another little side stretch. So inhale to sweep the arms up high. Exhale to lean over that extended leg. So trying to keep the body nice and long. Nice full breath. If it's comfortable to look up to that top hand, you can gaze up lovingly at your fingers. One more breath here. And on an exhale, we're going to take that top hand down to the ground underneath the shoulder, trying to get them lined up. Top hand just coming to the hip for now. And then we're going to flex that back foot. So we can stay here in a side plank, kind of lifting the hips. Option to float that top arm up directly up towards the sky. Or if it feels nicer to going for a side stretch, then feel free to do that. Wherever your arm is, you also have the option to float that leg up off the ground. Trying to make sure there's space around that left shoulder and neck, so you're pressing into that hand, into that arm. Nice steady breaths. When you're ready, releasing the foot down, bringing the right leg back in, just coming to kneel in the middle. So if you want to tuck the toes, sitting down on your heels, just stretching out the soles of your feet a little bit. Focusing on your breath, maybe closing your eyes if that helps you focus. On your next inhale, coming back to kneel nice and tall. Left leg's going to come out to the side this time. Sole of the foot down on the ground. On an inhale, sweeping the arms up high. Exhale to find your side stretch. Lovely. Nice. Nice big breaths. Last one. Then on an exhale, right hand comes down to the ground underneath that right shoulder. Left hand to the hip, flexing out through that left foot. Maybe you float it up, maybe you don't. And options again with that left hand, either on the hip, reaching up towards the sky, or reaching overhead nice and long. Any one of those. If your foot is lifted, make sure it's nice and flexed so it's active. Lifting the hips as high as you can get them. Nice. One more breath here. And releasing the foot down, lifting yourself up, coming back to your kneeling position, finding your way to a child's pose. So any version that feels good. Couple of breaths here. On an inhale, coming back to another tall kneeling position. We'll have a little play with camel, but we're going to focus on the bend in sort of the upper part of the back, less on the quads, and fannying about with that. So just finding a nice, stable, solid position to start with. You take the hands to the lower back with the fingertips facing down towards your bum, and drawing the elbows in towards each other. You might feel a little stretch across the front of the chest as well. You're going to tuck the tailbone down towards your knees. Press the hips forward as though they were going into a wall in front of you. Keep squeezing those elbows towards each other. And then on an inhale, lift the sternum, the front of your chest up towards the sky. So try to keep the neck and chin in neutral, lifting the chest rather than the head. It's not an area of the body that has a huge amount of movement. And the shape of your spine is going to define some of how much space you have to use. So something that is very different in everyone. Keep squeezing those elbows together. Keep pressing the hips forward. Make sure you can breathe wherever you are. So if your breath is sticky, maybe lift up a little bit. One more breath here. And inhale to lift yourself up. Exhale to sit down on your heels. Maybe give the hips a little wiggle. Okay. I'm going to come down onto the ground now. So just when you're ready, swinging your legs around in front of you. I'm going to take them wide. So just again, as wide as you can, as wide as is comfortable. If you can't get the legs straight and the back straight, I'm trying to get both of them, then take a little bend in the knees and or sit on something to tilt your pelvis a little bit, make it easier to find that length in your spine. On an inhale, we're going to reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, hinge at the hips, coming forward. So imagine someone's pulling on your arms, making your back as long as possible. And then just bringing your hands down to the ground wherever they come to. Try to keep the front of the body as long as you can get it. Keep those feet flexed. Notice if they decide to run away. And then inhale, lifting yourself up. I'm going to bring the legs together. We're going to take a twist. So if you bring the right sole of the right foot into the left thigh, you're going to sweep that right arm overhead so the fingertips find the ground behind you. Make sure you're sitting up nice and tall, then come into your twist. So maybe the front hand finds the opposite knee. Trying to keep the spine long, chest broad. Again, making sure you can take nice full breaths. One more breath on this side. And an inhale, coming to face front, sweep the arms up high. Just going to exhale, bring the hands down, swap over your legs. Sitting up as tall as you can again. Get a little bend in that knee if that helps. On an inhale, sweeping the arms up. Exhale, finding your twist again. So nice and straight through the body, nice and tall. Nice full breaths. Last breath here. And then on an inhale, coming to face front, sweeping the arms high. Exhale, taking the hands down. We're going to come down onto our backs. Just make sure you've got enough space behind you, keeping the legs a little bent, soles of the feet on the ground, curling yourself, reaching forward, so making the front of your body as small as you can. And then give yourself maybe a steady count of 6 to roll down onto your back. If you need to use your hands to get you down or can't manage a 6, that's all good. That's just what we're aiming for. Nice. Once you're down, reach the arms overhead if that's comfortable. If you haven't got space, you can take hold of opposite elbows. Legs out nice and straight, just a little bit of a stretch. We're going to bend up the knees, take the soles of the feet wide, so they're sort of half on. If you're in the middle of the mat, kind of aiming for them to be half on and half off the mat. Then on an exhale, we're going to drop both knees over to the right. Nice steady breath. On your next inhale, bring the knees up towards the sky. As you exhale, take them over to the left. If you've got hold of opposite elbows, just take a moment to switch your grip over. One more breath on this side. And when you're ready, bring your knees up into the chest. Give yourself a little hug, a little squeeze, and then make your way to your Shavasana. So you can take it traditionally, legs out, a little way apart from each other, backs of the hands on the ground. If you want to take it with the soles of the feet wide on the ground and your knees knocking in, That's a nice one, particularly if you've got any lower back issues. That can kind of help feel less awkward. I've lost my words today, sorry, it's lots of revision. You can take three nice deep breaths, big full breath into the lungs, filling them up. And then a big audible sigh out of the mouth. Letting go of your practice. Doing the same twice more, so nice full breath in. Big sigh out. Just allowing your body to become a little heavier and a little bit softer with each sigh. Allowing the ground to take over all the work of holding you up, supporting your body. You take a couple of minutes rest. Starting to take some deeper breaths. Starting to bring a little bit of movement back into the body. Starting small, waking it up a little. Maybe taking a stretch. When you're ready, drawing the knees into the chest, rolling over to your left-hand side if there's space. Taking a couple of breaths down here on your side. And then keeping the eyes closed as you start to bring yourself up to a comfortable seated position. Having any little wriggles that you need to get settled. And we're going to finish with 5 golden thread breaths. I think we've done these before. So you can just rest your hands on your legs and your knees if that feels comfortable. So for a golden thread breath, just a really full, steady breath in. So you can really fill up all the different corners of your lungs. And then a very gentle, controlled exhale by creating a little gap between your lips and just pushing that air out through the space you've created as though you're spinning a golden thread between your lips that's just pooling on the floor in front of you. So we'll do 5 of those. So whenever you're ready, taking your nice full steady breath to start. Little gap in the lips as you start to exhale. And when you're finished, bringing your hands to rest, one on top of the other over your heart, or in prayer. Taking a moment to thank yourself for making time to come and practice today. Taking a moment to thank everyone else for coming and sharing this space, this time with you this evening. And taking a moment to think of something else or someone else who has made you feel grateful this week. And you're already rubbing your hands together, getting them nice and warm. Cupping the palms of your hands over your eyelids, and just taking a moment to notice how that feels. And when you're ready, nice big breath as you start to blink open your eyes and take your hands away from your face.